Hello and welcome to Wednesdays with W. This is episode number 18. The guest on this episode is one who's been very attractive on the field and has been aggressive, stylish batter of the Indian women's team. She's also been very good on the field. She's gone through a lot in her personal life as well, but she has ensured that she stayed focused. She's kept going in her cricket and she's led a state side to the final in the last year's tournament. It's my pleasure to present to you the stylish batter Veda Krishnamurthy. Hello and welcome, Veda. How are you doing?
Hello, sir. Thank you. Doing good. Obviously, we're all working together, so it's a nice thing right now.
Okay, let's start off from where it all started. What made you take up cricket?
I was very athletic from a very young age. Of course, I have uh, two elder sister and an elder brother, so I was the youngest in the family. So they always felt like they've done the bit with the rest of them, like studies or getting into whatever professional normally Indian parents would force their children to do it. And then I was born after 9 years. So I was like the favorite. Obviously, everybody like looked at me like a small baby in the house. So I had that leverage of choosing what I wanted to do. I always make fun of it, saying that the studies part was covered by the other three. So I had the leverage to pick up any sport, and I got into karate at a very young age. Plus, added on with the more athleticism which was there, taking part in every single sport the school used to participate in, and it was quite okay playing all the sport. It came to a point like you know how cricket is picked up from street cricket. Of course, you're playing gully cricket. My brother used to play with his friends, so he used to take me along to the ground. So I used to be like an audience watching from the outside. And one of the days that I got to know about this very recently. One of the days they didn't have a complete team, so my brother was like, "Okay, just join in, and you can like pick up the ball and give." So that's how it started. And lucky enough that I had every house had a same age group of mine, like one kid in that gully where we stayed. And we kind of became a group, and that was like a normal routine. You come back from school and go play cricket.
Yeah, to progress further, you wouldn't have had much of facilities in a relatively smaller town that you belong to.
Absolutely none. There was one ground which was the government college ground, which is a multi-purpose ground. Everybody used to play everything on that, and you'll find like groups of 10 different groups playing cricket. And there was an auditorium which they started to build, so obviously it was a cement thing. We found a leather ball, not a great one, somewhere, probably a 50 rupee or a 60 rupee ball. You just pick it up and then you start playing with that on the cement thing just for the kick of it. And then you kind of quite enjoy when you start playing leather ball, and then you given a tennis ball, you don't like it because the ball is not traveling as you would want to. There's a lot of effort to put away tennis ball. So that kind of came in my head, and then I walked up to my dad and was like, I think I want to play cricket. Why don't you take me to Bangalore, like summer camps and stuff? And he didn't believe. He said, like, if you find a place where they're coaching girls, I'll take you. Until then, I'm not going to take you just for the sake of it. And then I was like, after that, like newspaper, you come up with those small ads. So you're looking at it every day. And it is all like, okay, boys from age of 6, 7, and goes on. One day, found a small little ad of Karnataka Institute of Cricket which says boys and girls. I had to read it thrice to actually confirm that it's printed right. And then I took it to my father and I showed it to me. So you told me find a place where they coach girls. I'll take you. Now take me. And I've been a very stubborn kid from the young age. If they say that they're going to do something for me, and I'm not going to let them get away with it. And he took me to Bangalore next day.
And your family backed you to the hilt as far as moving to Bangalore, isn't it? That's terrific sacrifice or whatever encouragement you call it. That's terrific coming from the family.
Yes, I mean, I always like when people ask me about the hardships about facing the society, people around, about why your girl is playing cricket. I never kind of had to face that because my family from the go were very supportive. My brother was already in Bangalore. He just got into his work, and he just found a job and stuff like that. And I had my elder sister who was with us. Who my dad said, okay, I'll probably rent a house so that you guys can stay together and then start going for your cricket coaching. So it just panned out in such a way that everything was pretty smooth at the beginning.
Was it a smooth passage, at least at the junior level, and then going on to the senior level? Was it a smooth passage, or was it full of strife?
Um, Actually, like when you start, you just start because you really like the game and you're so passionate about it, you want to do it. When I shifted to Bangalore, and that was a whole thing about you getting to play cricket the whole day, you don't have to attend school. So that was another thing. I was like, this is actually nice, I don't have to go to school and write my exams and be in that uniforms, which I really didn't like it that time. And so that was like an thing. 2 years into it, it was all about like a young kid getting to play and not going to school. So that was the whole idea about it. In When the first ZCA camp was announced, and we did a whole month camp, that is why I started to realize there's more to it. Probably I have it in me to make it to the higher level if I'm a little more serious about it and think about it as a serious part of my life. As long as you're going to be there doing everything what is required, because until then it was just fun.
Don't get me wrong, a lot of parents face a situation or reach a point where they feel that they got to get some return on investment. Did your parents at any time have that kind of feeling? Like
No,
they put pressure
actually,
on you?
no, never. Even today, it is never taken in that way. They always, like I said, it was more of a fun part of it, and they liked for the fact that I was playing some sport, which eventually was the idea from the time I was a kid. Like I said, they've done masters. My siblings have done masters engineering, so it didn't really occur to them that they needed another one who's highly qualified when it comes to education. So they left it a little free to me. Like I said, in the first 2 years of cricket, where it was more fun to me, I really didn't think beyond what is going to happen. Even at that place, my father kept telling me only one thing: the day you feel that this is not worth it, you come back home, it's fine. Like, you don't have to like really stress out and break your head about things not happening for you. So that is something which kept me going throughout, saying that eventually it is about making sure I find my happy space. There's no external pressure that I have to play for India or I have to score every game. So I've heard a lot of stories, but it was never the case for mine.
Started off as fun, you enjoyed the game. Gradually, you get pulled onto the train and you start a journey. You make it to the Indian side in 2011. You got off to a good start.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, 18-year-old was always told from the time I walked into that cricket academy that the first thing Irfan sir told my father also was like, put her in the academy, she's got the potential, she can play for India very soon. So this was the statement, and everybody who looked at me kept saying that, oh, she's going to play for India, so she's going to play for India soon. So when that happened, and when it happened and everything falls into your platter, you go, you score a 50 on your debut, you feel like there's nobody better than you. You feel like you're like some god kind of status, like this comes very easy to you. And that something which I got carried away, saying that everything is easy, it's not as difficult as it looks from outside. But eventually, like you can never be bigger than cricket, and it always finds a way to teach you that what is important. And that was something which happened immediately after that, like year after my debut, when I was dropped for the first time. That is where it hit me, saying that I don't know everything. I mean, until then I felt like I have control, I know everything what's happening. But it came to a point where I figured out, like, this is more to it. It is not as simple as you think it is.
Yeah, it's all about making an impact and then struggling to live up to people's expectations and your own expectations, isn't it? That's what
Yeah, I
is.
mean, if I had a quiet debut, probably, would have been looked up as a young kid who's just trying to make her stride in the international cricket. I would have probably gotten that leverage about failing a few games before I pick it up. What happened is that it went right bang, and then the expectations probably was here. I put it 10 steps ahead, and now they're looking at me at 10 steps ahead, someone who probably would be more experienced through it. Before I really understood and got experienced about the whole thing, and it was already back down. So that is something which I always feel, maybe I had a very good start and then had to come down. There had to be a slump for me to realize what is happening. But if it was a gradual start, I would have learned through with my mistakes, and probably would have been a better cricketer in a year's downtime to what happened exactly with me.
Yeah, you had to go through the rough and tumble, learn a lot of things along the way, and then the finals at Lords. You made a good contribution there as well, but towards the end, the collapse must have been agonizing, wasn't it?
Well, it's that day still gives me goosebumps. Actually, I just got a goosebump, I guess, talking about it. A lot of people, even today, when they see me and they say, "Oh, you probably should have stayed for another 10 balls or 12 balls. We would have won the game," and things like that. But they don't understand for the fact that when you're in there, you're always, obviously, you don't want to lose. You're thinking at how quickly things can be done and how easily it can be done, so that you put your step there and say, like, this is what it is. From here we're not going to lose. So, and I knew for the fact that the last 3-4 batters of us is not well equipped to even get certain amount of runs. So I wanted to really make sure, and I was hitting the ball really well, so I backed myself to play that shot. And unfortunately, it didn't turn out, or it didn't work out the way it is. If you see that whatever innings from ball one, I was always looking for boundaries, and that's exactly what I did. The run rate was creeping up. I knew 7 runs or 6.5, 7 will be difficult later on, and but to go down like that was pretty disheartening. And still waiting for that moment where we can get past it and keep put our hands on the trophy.
Let's split your career from the time you made your debut, from 11 to 17. What happened right during that phase?
Everything went right. Like, you walk in, for the academy, the selections happening, you play under 16, you play under 19 in the first year itself, and then the senior tournament, like, I get picked as a fielder because Mamta, who was the captain then, she was pretty disappointed with the slip catching, especially. She was like, I've been putting my heart out and nobody is there to catch, so I want someone who can convert those catches. And that is where she saw me for the first time, and she's like, right, I'm going to play her in the 11. 12-year-old, obviously not strong enough to play in the senior level when it comes to the strength wise, about clearing the 30 yard or whatever it is, just started cricket. But I get in as a fielder, and I played every game as a fielder. I was probably batting at number 8, number 9, not bowling, but I was playing every single game, because I was converting those catches in the slip cordon, which was a huge part of contribution when you look at it, because you're taking wickets, and there was uh, you know uh, it's important, like, you get your breakthroughs and stuff like that. It kind of worked, and we won the South Zone, what you play, like, interstate. We were on top of the table, and we qualified for nationals and stuff. So that is where uh, I think it kind of made me more serious about the fielding aspect of it. Is like, if this can get me through ahead of someone, like, there was Vanita who was there as a competition at that time, and I edged past her only because I could feel better. So that is where I got this idea about working towards your fielding and becoming a better fielder, because that will always have an edge over you.
From that final at Lords, till probably the end of the 21-22 season. What changes did you see? Now, let's not talk about COVID. I'll get to that later.
From 17 to 22.
Yeah.
Huge changes. First thing, obviously, recognition, which as a sports person, you thrive for it. You want people to appreciate it because you are putting your heart and soul to get there and represent India. That was the first thing we experienced when we came back. We never ever felt that there will be so many changes. We always felt that we have to play at the semifinals level just to get there, in the eyes of people, saying that it's not men's cricket, like we play as well, we are doing the hard work to get to where we are. And that was the first big thing. Like when people started recognizing, what will happen is it kind of brings an audience, which is all the more important as a player. Like we've seen it recently now with the tournaments, how it is going. You have so many people coming in and watching, and when people are interested, media get interested, TV is interested, everybody else is interested. So it kind of gets all of their attention, and I think that's the major part of what happened after that finals.
COVID was tragic for many. A lot of them lost their loved ones. You had your share of losses as well. How difficult was it to cope up with those
Very
losses?
difficult, because you clearly not ready for it. It is it was an accident. You everything was fine one day, and then the next day things are literally shaken, and your entire floor uh, collapses, and then you don't know what to do. And it was a difficult phase because we were not used to of each other in such a way, because my mother and my sister were the center of everything. They kind of held all of us together. So it was difficult for us to get past it. And I mean, still uh, not completely over it, and I don't think so we'll be ever over it. But that has affected our life in huge way, and there's a big void, I'd like to say, that it's very difficult to fill.
Was cricket a bit of a balm in your life? It provided you an avenue to sort of forget your turmoil for a while.
Yeah, but there was not much cricket happening also after that. So that kind of made it a lot more difficult. You don't, obviously, you're not getting selected for India, and there's not much domestic matches happening. So you don't really know what needs to be done to get there. But at the same time, to keep yourself motivated to get up and go to the gym or go to the ground was even more difficult, because I was like, why am I even doing this? Like, what is there for me at the end of it? And it really didn't show me any clarity. There was no path for it, and it took me really good 2 to 2.5 months before I decided, like, right, okay, I can't be sitting at home. I need to make sure that I get out of the house and do something, so that at least for that couple of hours I am not thinking about it, or I'm not forced to think about it, but at the same time I'm doing something to tire myself out. That means I can get back and at least try and sleep. And it was like more of sleeping was like trying to get done with those hours which you are trying to be awake. And that also was a big problem. I was not able to sleep. I used to be awake till 5 6 in the morning, and then you you're don't want to sleep, but you're tired. You just shut off for 2 3 hours, and then you're wide awake again. You don't know what to do. So it was a hard task to actually get things back to normal, and have that routine kind of a thing.
Yeah, cricket has been very important in your life. You are, in fact, one of the first to go and play in the WBBL. Did you feel you were inadequate when you went and played early in your early days? Because they were very strong, everything would have been different. Did you feel sort of inadequate in any way?
um no, actually the culture itself is so different to what it was here, at least until a couple of years ago. Like when I played, it was very early. We are obviously not uh, equipped enough to give opinions. If a coach or if a management is saying something, you ought to listen and not talk back. That is something which we were taught back home here in India. And then where then you go there, people even who are not in the squad are giving their opinions, and they're very confident about it. That was something which first thing I was taken aback. I was like, oh, how can she even tell this? But it was all taken in a nice way. I mean, obviously now things have gotten better with the approach, and how things are going. Like, you are more opinionated, you are free enough to give answers and stuff like that. But there was a lot of gap between how things were back home and how things was there in Australia. It took me a while to get adjusted to it, but I think I slowly see that that gap is coming closer, and the approach and the kind of work that it is done now is a lot better than what it was.
There's
Probably if I
always
go now, I'll be much better there.
there was always a feeling that there's not much of encouragement for cricket at the grassroots level. Do you think one of the best things that could have happened is the start of this under 19 World Cup for girls?
I think that's an amazing thing what is happening, and then I feel very good about the fact that we're going to start with the under 19 World Cup, which is a very important age group, especially in women's cricket. You see a lot of them uh, already knocking at the door for the senior team around 19, 18, 19, 20, and if you get to play a world level tournament before you play for India, I think that experience itself is going to boost a lot of things, and it's going to boost a lot of youngsters as well. Now they have a purpose. It is not only about playing for India. When you start playing cricket, you have a hurdle. You have an under 19 World Cup or under 19 India, whatever the tournaments is going to happen. You have that as a goal. So now everybody who are starting cricket, they can think about small goals, get to under 19 level, and then make it to the senior level. So that's a nice thing. It's not a long road for people who are going to start cricket.
Railways dominated in women's cricket like Mumbai did in men's cricket. But of late, other sides are getting better. You led your side to a final. Bengal has become a highly respected side. It's good for the game, isn't it?
Very good for the game. I mean, it's nice to keep the Railways thinking that the other players are catching up, the other teams are catching up, and it's a nice thing to, like you said, Bengal has played multiple finals in the last few years, and we as a side exactly is what I have learned throughout is about being expressive, being right there, even whether you're wrong. Say what you're feeling. It kind of gives you enough clarity about what needs to be done, and I'm enjoying for the fact that there are a lot of other teams who are looking at this aggressive approach and expressive approach, which was very rare for any of them to see in domestic level, especially. And a lot of it comes from what is happening at the higher level as well. Like, you're going to be expressive and you're going to show it to domestic circuit that this is how it is done, and then you have the younger kids. I mean, what can I say about the players coming in? They're so bold, they're so brave. They want to take the game on. They don't really care who is bowling or who is batting. They have so much confidence about their own game that they come and tell me that no, we are sure that this is what we want to do. And I think a lot of it is getting changed culturally as well, and that's a very, very important thing. And I don't I mean, coming years, in another couple of years time, I'm sure we'll be there'll be teams who are going to give a tough competition to Railways. Now we're just making that. It still kind of becomes almost like a one-sided when you play them, but I'm sure there'll come a point where Railways going to start thinking what they need to do.
The much awaited league is set to kick off early next year. What is your excitement level about that?
I'm just actually trying to keep myself very calm, because you don't know what exactly is going to happen. You don't. I mean, I've learned one lesson in the last 1 year is like not to have expectations straight from the beginning, and then when it is not fulfilled, it kind of hurts you really bad. And uh, I'm just coming out of a lot of things, so I really don't want to put myself into that space as yet. But uh, overall, very excited. Something which all of us have been waiting for a while now. We felt that should have happened probably a couple of years ago. If not for COVID, I'd like to think that way. So if that is what all of us have, everybody is excited. We know what kind of an impact women's cricket has made in India. We know that this is going to boost a lot more to what is happening right now, and we can be a force to reckon, probably in a year's time at least.
The quality of cricket that has been evident in the ongoing India Australia series, that is making a strong case for the viability of women's cricket, isn't it, in terms of financial viability?
So happy with how things have panned out, especially in the first couple of games. Did expect people to come in, but didn't expect people to come in large numbers. Like you having 47,000 people coming in and watching. It's as good as, a men international or an IPL game, a top rated contested matches, and you see people coming in enjoying what is happening. uh, End of the day, for the people, for the audience, it's about entertainment. Whether we are able to provide that aspect to them, I think we're very well doing it with the kind of shots they've been playing, the fours and the sixes come in very quickly. It's not how it was earlier. You sit and wait for a boundary to happen. It's happening. There's a lot of events going on, and I think it's more of an entertainment package when the audience are looking at. And and perfect example, the first game, the second game going into super over. I think what better to do? And then when IPL starts, I kind of will kick off another whole thing. So I can't wait for the other three games to happen and see how many people are going to turn out.
It's not only you and I, Veda, the entire nation is looking forward to it. I'm really glad that's happening.
Yeah.
And on to a personal level again, I read somewhere that Mithali Raj was your idol. What was it about her that really you admired?
Like I said, when I obviously looked up that ad and gave it to my father, I really didn't know women's cricket existed. um and that was the year that they played finals for the first time in South Africa, and the team had come back. um we had a felicitation in the academy when Mithali, Nushin, Karuna, and all these people were invited, and I had never seen Mithali. I had never seen how she plays. Didn't know much about it, but there was so much talks around, like, Mithali this, Mithali that. She bats so beautifully. She's one of the best in the world. So that kind of, kept feeding in my head. 2 years down the lane, we played Railways. Karnataka played Railways in a 2-day game. She came and scored 200 runs against us within no time. So I was just on the field, fetching the ball from the boundary line and giving it back. It was literally like she's doing her open nets, and we're there just there to field the ball and give it back to the bowlers with the kind of ease she played in, and so much grace to it. And that is when I was like, okay, this is what it is, and this is what she's capable of. This is how good she is. And you start closely, watching once you have access to it. And that is something which made me think like, okay, if I want to become a batter, I probably should be as graceful as she is, as consistent as she is, something what she's doing regularly. So that is where I felt that, if you are looking up to someone and you want to play for India, and she's the one for it.
On the other side of the spectrum, you have Harmanpreet Kaur, who indulges in big hitting. And what was it like seeing her from the dressing room hitting those huge sixes?
I think I've been in the best seat when Harman's gone crazy about her batting. Like that 171 she did, I was at the non-striker end for quite a bit of it when she batted. And even when she got that 100 against New Zealand in the T20 World Cup, I was on the non-striker end. So I feel like I've seen the best of it from the best seat in the house. Plus, at the same time, early days going in when Harman was new, she had not played for India as yet. we were playing North Zone, and she walks in with the huge ponytail and comes in and whacks it out of the park. And it's like, okay, this is not something we see regularly. It's a task to hit sixes, and that was at under 19 level with what she did. And then she was immediately picked for the World Cup squad. I've played enough cricket with her. We were in Western Railways together, so I've seen her there as well, going really crazy about the whole thing. But it's nice that she introduced something in Indian cricket which was very rare. You wouldn't find many of them who could do it, but she's got that trend. If that big hitting trend has come to India, I think she is the pioneer to it.
India is blessed with a lot of talent in youngsters like Jemmy, Yashtika, Richa, and then you have Shafali. You must be really excited about what they can do in the future.
I mean, why not? Like they are they are all like around 19, 20, and that means there's a long career ahead of them. So another 2-3 years down the line, they would have played in like 4 to 5 years of international cricket, probably 100 games each, where they are in a position to take control and take the team forward. And that is something which is very exciting. And they were the first batch, I'd say, where you got cricketers coming in who are playing fearless and brave cricket, and it kind of rubs on to other players who were a little subtle and trying to do it in the right way. And then you have an entire bunch of kids coming in and showing you how it is done. So that itself is a huge thing. And that kind of, like I said, it's very important how the senior team does it for the youngsters to pick it up, and that braveness is rubbed on to the younger lot coming in, and you see so many good cricketers, so many brave cricketers. And I'm really happy that they're already in a phase of career where they've had enough experience and can take team through on any day.
Don't shed your true colors for the next question. What be your true self?
Okay, I'll
What do you
try.
think of the prospects of India in the upcoming World Cup, T20 World Cup?
So you didn't want it to be true, you didn't wanted me to be true, or what exactly did
I
you mean
wanted
by?
you to be true to yourself, not to anybody.
No, see, I'll tell you something very frankly. You see
There you
Australian.
are. That's what I wanted. There
No,
you are.
you see Australia, how they play cricket. The only team which is challenged day in and day out is the Indian team. So I wouldn't even say England team, though they are a good team. The only team which has put Australia under the pump is the Indian team. So if anything can happen, if anybody can beat a team like Australia, it's the Indian team, and we did see it recently as well. Every time you come up with brilliance, and then you finish the line. I'm just hoping that happens in one of the pressure games, like knockout games, or a final, where we can pull ourselves together and get the best out of us.
Of course, I also agree with the point that if at all any side is challenged, Australia has been India, and if at all they are worried about any side, it's India. So
Yeah,
anyway, uh, I hope as well that it happens in a knockout game.
yeah.
Where does Veda head from here?
Well, interesting question. I've been talking about, for the fact that I've been someone who doesn't want to look beyond uh, a lot of things. First thing first, we have our state tournament coming up, 50 over domestic challenge. A lot at stake since we made it to the final last year, so there'll be lots of expectations around it, and we have to live up to that expectation. So that is first thing for me. As soon as we go back, we have a camp starting, and we'll be playing matches next month. So that's it for me as of now.
I've heard you got engaged. You announced your engagement. When is
Yeah.
the date set? When is the date set?
I'm actually doing my registration of my wedding on Jan 12th, which is my mom's birthday. I wanted that day to be special and always connected to me. So doing that first. Apparently there is a month, until 15th you're not supposed to exchange garlands or mangal sutra or whatever it is. So if not, we would have done it on that day itself. But at least on if you're celebrating wedding anniversary coming forward from here on, it'll be on my mom's birthday, and it's going to be very special.
Whenever it is, wherever it is, I wish you both the very best in your married life.
Thank you so much, sir.
And thanks a lot, Veda, for your time and joining us for this show. And hope to see a lot more of you on the field rather than beside me in the com box.
Hopefully that day comes, and you can watch me playing and then commentate. Probably you'd be a little nicer towards me.
I've always been nice.
Some nice words
I
praising me.
will, I will. I'll look forward to that day and take care and I'll catch you soon.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on this show. It's been a fun ride. It's always interesting and fun to have a conversation with you. It kind of gets a very bubbly and a chirpy side of me. And I'm anyway seeing you soon now, probably in a day's time.
All right then. That was Veda Krishnamurthy for you. Always cheerful, bubbly, enthusiastic, and full of life. She obviously will need to get back to her cricket and see what she can do for a state cricket and possibly make a comeback into the Indian side. And as far as all of you are concerned, please try and ensure that you log on to the handles of Sportstar and Indu to catch up on the past episodes if you've not seen them. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, please ensure that you subscribe for the channel and also leave your comments because we are very keen to know as to what you think of our shows and also what it is that you want us to provide you in the future episodes. So until I catch up with you next time, take care and be good.